For each equation, determine whether it shows a direct variation, that is, shows directly proportional variables. If it does, find the constant of variation and write it in its simplest form. If you remember from when we did this problem in the last topic, a direct variation is set up in the way of y equals some constant of variation k times x. Basically speaking, if you're dealing with functions with just x and y in it, all you're doing is solving for y. That's basically it. So, with that known, let's take this first one. Remember, a direct variation is x multiplied by a number. If x is added to a number, if x is subtracted from another number, if x is divided by a number, that is not a direct variation. So, negative 2y equals negative 5x. Per my equation of direct variation, I'm just going to solve for y. Divide both sides by negative 2, and I'll get y equals negative divided by negative is a positive, so 5x over 2. If you remember your rules with fractions, namely a over b times c equals ac over b, I can convert this fraction into this equation. So I would just get y equals 5 over 2 times x. So in this example, my direct variation constant, or my k, would just be 5/2. So it is a direct variation with a k of 5/2. Example 2. And I'm going to leave this one up here too, because this is important to understand so that you don't get confused with what your k is going to be. Negative 5x plus 8y equals 0. I'm solving for my y, so I want to say y equals something. So I'm going to get my y on the other side. Then I'm going to solve like normal. Oops, that's the wrong way. I want to solve for y, not for x. Y equals, remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And I can just write it like this due to this fractional rule. And so my direct variation constant is going to be 5/8. Now here's a case where you might not have a direct variation. (5x minus 6y equals -7). Get y by itself. So I'm going to do 2 steps in one, but I'll use different colors so you know what I'm doing. I'm going to add, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do those 2 steps. I'm too lazy. I'm going to just take away the 5x. -6y equals -7 minus 5x. Divide everything by -6. And I'll get y equals negative by negative is a positive, 7/6, plus a negative divided by negative is positive, 5/6x. This is not a direct variation. A direct variation is only y equals x times a number. There is nothing else. No addition, no subtraction, nothing. Because of this positive 7/6, it is no longer a direct variation, but just an equation. Technically an equation for a line. So this one specifically is not a direct variation. Whereas my next problem (5x minus 25y equals 0) minus 5x negative 25y equals negative 5x divided by negative 25 y equals 5 over 25x, which can simplify if I divide both the top and the bottom by 5 into 1/5 x. Therefore my k is 1/5. Is a direct variation. So note that the first one is not a direct variation because of the addition of another number, and the second one is because it's just x times some number. And so if you understand what the equation of direct variation is, which is y equals x times some number k, probably this won't be too difficult for you. Just remember that a direct variation does not have any addition or subtraction once you solve for y. And that's all for this one.